Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Charles Sebastian, and welcome you guys to another episode of the DREAMERSPRO show, where we cover everything from sports, hot topics, classic debates, entertainment, and we give you guys a fresh perspective on things and how we see them. And folks, today we got I don't know what we got for y'all today, but before we get into it, please make sure you like the video and sub to the channel. So, as you guys know, the NBA it's not really in a great place. Viewership has been down across the board year over year. You just had the commissioner go out there and make some statements that really got a lot of people upset with him, where they were talking about the game now only being available if you're willing to pay, money for multiple streaming platforms to be able to watch games. And a reporter essentially asked him, look, aren't you pricing out your traditional fans? Aren't you pricing out people because they're not going to be able to pay for all of these various packages? Or maybe people don't have the disposable income to pay for all of these streaming networks. And the commissioner actually went out there and said that, the NBA is a highlight league. It's a highlight league, and fans should be able to, they can get the clips anywhere. And those comments didn't go over well. He had to come back and kind of clarify what he was saying. Then we have the biggest scandal taking place in the NBA, at least in the last decade or so, that's centered around Kawhi Leonard and the Clippers circumventing the NBA salary cap. The first comments the commissioner made about it, and I'm paraphrasing, of course, he just basically said that the burden of proof is on the NBA. And people like Pablo Torre and others are like, wait, what? Like, that's the first thing you're going to say about the situation? And then just when we thought that this investigation was going to start growing legs because we heard the NBA started to conduct an investigation, we then did a live show reacting to the news that the NBA is only going to come to a decision in terms of their findings during the investigation after the All-Star break. So that means that if they are able to find any wrongdoing, let's say by December, they're not going to say anything. If they find any wrongdoing by November, they're not going to say anything. Or January, they're not going to say anything. They're going to wait till after the All-Star game passes. Now, why would they decide to wait after the All-Star game? Because the All-Star game is being hosted in LA in the Clippers Intuit Dome Arena. And when we did a live about that, people were just beside themselves, right? So just when you thought it couldn't get any worse, speaking of the All-Star game, we finally get some conclusive details about the new All-Star game format. Before we even get into that, the All-Star game is on life support right now. It's on absolute life support. Over the last 2 or 3 years, we witnessed the lowest rated All-Star games in the history of basketball. For as long as the NBA has been around, for as long as it has been in existence, the last 2-3 All-Star games are the lowest rated All-Star games in the history of the sport. Beyond the fact that people aren't tuning in. Whenever people do decide to tune in, watching a game has been an absolute waste of time. You're witnessing some of the worst exhibition basketball ever, to the point where former championship head coach of the Denver Nuggets, Mike Malone, said after he coached the first All-Star game, he said, this is the worst All-Star game or worst NBA game I have ever seen, which is an indictment on this current era of players and the elder statesmen like the Kevin Durant's, the LeBron James, the Stephen Curry's, these guys that have been around the NBA for quite some time. So this morning I was going through the internet here, and I came across some sound finally, because as you guys know, the NBA is really kicking off next week. Media Day is on the 29th, which is when a lot of teams are starting their Media Day. And then training camp also starts on the 29th, which is next week, Monday. And then from there, the preseason starts about a week or so later. Various teams are starting at various points. But anyway, I came across a clip this morning on Twitter here that featured Shams from ESPN. It's actually from the NBA on ESPN Twitter account. And he was finally giving a breakdown as to what exactly this new All-Star game, which is essentially the USA versus World, what the format is and how it's going to go. So for those of you who didn't hear what the new format is going to be about, we want to play it for you now. I want you guys to listen to it in its entirety. and then we're going to come back and continue on the show. Take a listen to what Shams had to say here.
So the USA versus World will be happening. It's 3 teams. It's a round-robin tournament, 2 U.S. teams, 1 world team. And essentially how this is going to go, I'm told, here are the details. 4 total games, 12 minutes per game, so a total of 48 minutes of action. So it's essentially 1 full game, NBA game regulation. So these 3 teams will face off against each other in 4 total games, 48 total games here in the 2026 All-Star Game.
Excellent. So you heard what Shams had to say. The minute he concluded speaking, I said to myself, what in the world is this? Like, what are we supposed to be expecting from this? First of all, the whole thing sounds absolutely confusing, right? And the last 2 All-Star games are bad. The last All-Star game was horrendous in terms of the format that they presented. So this one, they're going to be 3 teams, if I understand this correctly. And I think I'm only going to understand it when I actually see the game or the games. We have 3 teams. 2 of them are USA teams. 1 of them is a world team. And I think the reason they have 2 USA teams is because maybe more players qualify to be All-Stars, I guess. And then you have the world team. Now, we don't know how many players are going to be on the world team. Is the world team only comprised of, 5 players? So, but then, yeah, I'm assuming it's only 5 players. So you're looking at, a total of, 15 players on the 3 teams, right? So 15 players, and I got to go look back and how many people actually make the All-Star game. So you have that, and the reason I think they're doing that is because some players are complaining. Players that would have never been able to become All-Stars now would be an All-Star because they make the team. So you have that going on there. So you have 3 teams, and they're playing 4 12-minute games. I'm supposed to be watching a game of 12 minutes. What am I supposed to understand from a game of 12 minutes? So what are they playing to? 11? So you have that, right? So they're playing 4 games of 12 minutes, and they're saying when you combine the 12 minutes, that will now make it a total of 48 minutes. Listening to this breakdown, I just said to myself, why don't they just go back to East versus West, man? Why don't they just go back to East versus West and find a way to get these guys to just compete, period, in the story? Right? Like, let's just do that. But beyond the fact that this is absolutely a new low, that the NBA has now had to come, has to resort to these type of gimmicks, I think this is an indictment on the job that Adam Silver has been doing, because let's just face it, the competitive spirit of the NBA players has just gone in the toilet, and Adam Silver has been at the helm of all of this. Let's just call, he's a leader. Let's just call, it is what it is. It's also an indictment on the elder statesmen in the NBA, the Kevin Durant's, the LeBron James, the Stephen Curry's. These guys have just not been able to lay a foundation for these younger guys to follow after. This is also an indictment on them, because the people that came before them left the tradition, left the foundation. These guys didn't. They just kind of came here, went with the flow, screwed up everything, and on their way out. It's the fact. When you look at their predecessors, the Kobe's, the Garnetts, the Duncans, the Shaq, these guys actually left the standard. What's the standard that these guys left? Nothing. There is no standard. So it's also a reflection on these guys and the role they've played in helping diminish the product. I'm sorry to say, but it's just a fact. It's just a fact. Most of these guys are going to listen to these elder statesmen because they're accomplished. They've been around for a long time. And if you guys, this has happened on your watch, it reflects on you. It's just the reality. It reflects on you. I think it's going to be another disaster. And I think it's going to be confusing. These are my thoughts. Whatever you guys think, leave your thoughts in the comments and we catch you on the next show. Peace.